Hi everybody, my name's Carolyn. I'm one of the TAs for your class, and today we're going to go over the guidelines for your research paper assignments. Um, Unlike some of the other assignments we've designed in this class, these writing assignments are specifically designed to help you develop your research, writing, and analytical skills. As you're working on these papers, your argument should focus on an analysis of a governmental institution or political process, and develop a thesis about that. As you're getting started, you'll notice that there are prompts available on Canvas for each of the topics as they become available. So you'll want to go into Canvas, read the prompt for the topic, and follow the steps that are provided to you. There's a lot of really detailed information in these prompts, so you don't want to overlook it. And we also provide a lot of really helpful resources in these prompts. So you want to make sure that you're utilizing all of those resources as you're working on your paper. One example would be the federalism topic that's available this week. If you choose the federalism topic, you will write a paper that briefly describes the central questions surrounding the policy of your choice. There's a list of possible policy options there in the prompt, and you'll describe how state and federal governments have developed either conflicting or complementary policies. You won't want to attempt to describe policy difference among all 50 states. You can choose 2 or 3 states, preferably states with contrasting policies, and compare the differences amongst states and also the differences between state level policy and federal policy. If there is no federal policy, you'll want to note the lack of federal policy and be clear about how that affects the development of state policy. As you're writing, you want to be very clear about the reasons behind these different policy choices. So your thesis should be an argument that identifies 1 or 2 reasons for this variation in policies. You want to remember that this isn't an opinion piece. You don't want to feature your own views about the policy's desirability or even include references to personal experiences concerning this policy. You simply want to analyze the policy differences and explain why this might be the case without providing any judgment about whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. If you're looking for information about federal policy, you might want to search the website of the relevant department for your policy, so the Department of Education or the Department of Energy, as well as the White House website if you want the president's perspective. You can also find current federal legislation on your topic if you search at congress.gov. As you're getting started, you might find that it's helpful to look up newspaper stories about the agency and program concerned with your policy area. As you're doing this, you want to make sure you're using reputable newspaper sources. I have a list of those here. So the New York Times, the Washington Post, Politico, the magazine National Journal are all excellent sources for high quality information. As you're working, you want to make very sure to avoid opinion blogs and other less well-referenced sources that can easily contain misinformation that will lead you astray. If you have any questions at any point about what constitutes a reputable source, please email me. It's much easier to address that early in the writing process than at the very end. As you're working, the Marriott Library will be your best friend. The resources that you access through the Marriott Library tend to be very reliable, and the library maintains a variety of very useful large article databases. So 2 especially useful databases are Nexus Uni and CQ Researcher. Both of those can be found through the Research Databases tab of the Marriott Library website. And if you're just getting started, I would recommend that you start using search terms related to your topic. You'll find an enormous amount of information here. Maybe too much information, but you'll find plenty for your needs. As you're getting started, you want to think about how you're organizing your paper. You want to make sure that it's well structured, it's coherent, it's concise. This means paying particular attention to your introductory paragraph, your body paragraphs, your concluding paragraph, and making sure you have a reference or bibliography at the end. The introduction should always always, always contain your thesis statement. I also recommend that you use your introduction to outline the arguments and evidence that you're going to use to support your thesis. So we call this a roadmap. And typically you would just provide your thesis and then let us know how you plan to support that thesis. You'll say, I plan to argue this, and here are some of the reasons that I will explore why this is correct. Your thesis should respond to the question in the prompt in Canvas for the topic of the week. And it should state a clear, non-normative position, non-opinion-based position that is supported by reasons and evidence throughout the paper. Like I said, this isn't a space for opinion. You want to use evidence in support of a larger argument. In the body paragraphs for your essay, you want to make sure that every paragraph is doing work to advance your thesis. So every single paragraph should include a statement explaining how the idea explored in that paragraph supports your larger argument. You don't need to be mechanical in your structuring of body paragraphs, but you do want to make sure that every single paragraph is providing a new piece of information in support of your thesis. There shouldn't be side notes or directions in the paper that don't directly support the point you're trying to make. And as you're wrapping everything up in your concluding paragraph, the best way to do this is to restate your thesis statement, say this is what I argued, review the reasons and evidence that you've provided in support of your thesis. So if you say, this is what I've argued, here is how I've supported that position, and then you can explore any relevant implications of your argument. If your policy has really important implications for the future, maybe let us know about that. Sources and citations are also very important. For this paper, you can use any citation style, whatever you're most familiar with at this point. That includes APA, MLA, Chicago, and Turabian. You just want to make sure that as you're using a citation style, you're using the same citation style consistently throughout the entire paper. If you have any questions about how to format your citations, I recommend Purdue OWL's website. I provided a link here. Purdue OWL is an excellent resource for figuring out how to format your in-text parenthetical citations, which are required for every style that you may be using. Also excellent for formatting your reference list or bibliography at the end of your paper. If at any point you have any questions about how to format your parenthetical citations or your reference list, that's something I'm always welcome to help with. And as I mentioned, both I and Robert are available to help you with your papers this semester. We have office hours on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays after class, and you can find us in Building 72, which is directly next to Building 73 that we have our class in. Our office cubicles may be a little bit difficult to find. You'll want to take a left heading out of our classroom, go through some double doors. Those will take you into Building 72. You'll take a left and then, you'll take a right and then head all the way down the hallway, and you'll see our cubicles at the end of the room on your left. You're welcome to show up to our office hours at any point. We're also happy to schedule appointments outside of our office hours if these don't work for you. And if you need any additional help with writing, the University Writing Center is available on the second floor of the Marriott Library. They're an excellent supplement to the resources that we have available in this class, though Robert and I are happy to help you as much as we can. If you have any questions, please ask. Thanks.